Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a gentleman that has been patient, patiently waiting to come on my show because I had to kind of reschedule things. And he's been amazing at being accommodating. He is amazing, period. Like, if you guys have not heard of Peter Graigs, I don't know where you're living because I heard of him even before I knew that he was going to come on my show. And he is just you should hear him on the guitar. I'm just going to say, Peter, welcome to my show.
Uh, Thank you, Ali. I'm very honored.
Oh, I'm honored that you're on my show. Okay, so you were born and raised in Montreal, Canada. Yay, Canada.
Yes, oui, oui,
Oui,
oui.
oui. I'm not French at all. But anyway, and you're a recording artist, multi-instrumentalist, if I can
Yes.
talk, and definitely a force to be reckoned with, well, on the fretboard of any guitar in your hands. Now, you grew up in Canada, but now you've relocated to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, the land of the penguins. Yes.
You went from the land of polar bears? No.
Montreal Canadiens, from the Habs to the Penguins.
Oh yeah, the Habs to the ooh. Well, it's better than Toronto. Anyway, there's a rival going on there, like you would not believe, has been for years. But anyways, we're not going to talk about hockey. Now, you grew up listening to basically 80s rock music. Anything rock, you listen to it. And kind of tell me your story. Like, how old were you when you started playing?
I was like 15, 16 years old when I started playing, but I could go a few years earlier, banging on pots and pans when my dad used to play the accordion. And actually, my biggest influence was my dad when I first started, and then some of my friends they used to have some guitars at home, and I used to play around with it without knowing what I'm doing. And my first guitar I ever bought was at the age of 16, and that's how I started playing guitar then.
Wow. Okay, so you grew up, like I said, listening to rock, progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal. Now, some of your musical heroes, this one is iconic. I mean, if
Yeah,
like iconic, Randy Rhoads, like, oh my God.
Randy Rose is the one person my whole entire life.
Yeah, I definitely. And then Eric Clapton, Al Di Meola, I can never say his name right. And
Al Di Meola.
yes, and legendary drummer Tommy Aldridge.
Yes.
Now, this I found interesting. Okay, so people always ask me, what kind of music do you like? And I like all kinds of music. Not a fan of classical or opera or Broadway. But then again, I can listen to classical every now and then just to kind of chill. Never been to an opera, so I might like opera or a Broadway show. I don't know. But you listen to the occasional classical piece just for kind of inspiration.
Not only inspiration, it's more like being laid back. It relaxes me a lot. I love classical. I listen to classical sometimes in my car. I put it on classical music just to drive around. Not that I don't like to listen to any other music. I'm very open-minded.
Hmm.
But yeah, in my early stages, it was mainly hard rock, and that's what got me into it, and that's what I fell in love with, and I started playing with. But on the long run, I started listening to these orchestras, classical music from Bach and Beethoven, even in the early days, even when my dad was listening to Frank Sinatra and all that stuff. And I liked it. I liked it. It's very relaxing for me. It's like something different. Sit back and just breathe.
Yeah, yeah, and that's when I listen to it. Like I do, like I said, I have listened to classical. I listen to it when I just want to relax, and it's very soothing, and it's also to put together all those instruments and to come out with that kind of a sound is crazy. So yeah, they're very, very, very talented people that do classical music, and yeah, Bach and Beethoven. Like wow, I could go on forever about them. Now, you've had years of live concert performance experience and recording
Yep.
sessions. What are some of the bands that you've recorded with and performed with?
Uh, the first band I played with, it was mainly cover band, but that's how I started. I was with a band called oh my god,
Wired?
trying to go
Was it?
memory lane here. Metal Gods, it used to be called,
Oh,
and
okay.
mainly they were cover bands, some originals, and that's how I started getting into the interest of trying to make songs from that time. And I was never good at it at that time because I didn't have anybody to sit down with me. Okay, Peter, you need to think how you're going to go from that chord to that chord. So yeah, I was trying, but you're still in the early stages. So cover songs were pretty much what I was learning in those days. And then when I got kicked out of the band because of a height issues, I met this band. At that time, they were called Rated R, and they were looking for a bass player. And they were doing covers and originals. And somehow I applied. I went to an audition as a bass player, actually, and I was surprised. They said, can you learn 30 songs in 2 days? And I said, sure. Which I didn't even know if I was able to do so, and I did.
Wow.
I did. I learned 30 songs in 2 days, and my first live gigs were going on from that time. And those days were very different when you were playing in bars, and yeah, it was exciting, and that's making originals, playing original music after that with a band called Cillian. There were more of the how would I say, like a Loverboy type of style bands, April Wine type of thing.
Oh.
And they were doing only originals, and I was hired as a bass player and some guitar parts in there too. And then there was a band called Tracks that were more of your hardcore band. That one didn't last that long. I kind of was disappointed to the way they wanted to do things, and I wasn't too lean about it. And then I decided to work with this band called Wired, and we stayed together for at least a good decade. But musical interest as a band together, we weren't aligning the same anymore. I had different directions. The guitar player was, I would say, too bossy, which I'm not too lean with that. And the only person I was getting along was with the drummer. And the band just split up afterwards, just of musical interest.
Ow. Now, that happens a lot in bands, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. But I mean, you have to think about it. There's all this artistic ability all in one room and all coming from different people. And there's heads are going to butt, definitely. I mean, we've heard of great, huge bands breaking up because of differences of opinions. Now, you've also played with Cillian and Scars of Grace.
Yeah, Scars of Grace was a band that I had put up in 2000 before I came here in the United States. But the band members, they didn't want to move here in the United States, so I was stuck on my own. So I tried to do a project with that, which that was hard to get musicians here in the United States because once I moved here, I didn't know anybody, didn't have any better clues who to ask, and just to find my ways around. So I decided to learn how to use drums, how to use better techniques on guitars, and the rest of it's all history. After a decade later, here I am.
Well, that's good. Now, do we want to talk about the sideline your career took for a little while? For about a decade?
Oh,
yeah, the parachute accident?
Yes, that happened in 2001 in July. If I'm not mistaken, that was on 21st or 22nd. I love parachuting, and I used to go at least 2-3 times throughout the summer with a group of people. And the last time I went parachuting, the weather was kind of windy, and I was always instructed when it's kind of windy, if you wanna, when you're landing down, always have your parachute. Try to be always against the wind to slow down faster. But I kind of lost control, and I started going like in a 360 degree. And when I landed down a little bit too fast.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So within a week, I couldn't even get out of bed. My discs, my lower disc, and I'm not gonna say I was paralyzed, but my leg, my part of my shoulder, arm, and my back was all numb.
Oh my goodness.
So I avoided a surgery. I'm not technically. I don't like hospitals. I don't like surgeries. I don't like needles. I don't like none of the above. And the option that the neurosurgeon told me that he could take me in for surgery, we'll take the pain away, but it won't fix nothing else. And I said, and my option number two would be what? He goes to me, well, you'll be in 5 years, you'd be like somebody who had a surgery. But then you get to meet people who had double surgeries and triple surgeries because the first surgery and the second surgery was not successful.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a residue left into into your damaged disc. And how it was explained, it's like you take a grape and you crush it. They go inside the grape, they'll clean it, but there's always a residue that could come out.
Mm-hmm.
And that residue just pushes all your nerves, and that's what makes the pain and the numbness. Yeah.
I hear you. I was offered a surgery as well for the disease I have because it affects your joints. But they told me there was a chance that if they did the surgery, I could be paralyzed. I was like, gee, let me think about this for not. Surgeries aren't the best answer. I can't believe that you actually jumped out of a plane, period, anytime. And to hear that something like that happened is awful.
But you know what's the funny thing?
You still go.
I could get up on the roof, but I cannot get down.
Oh my God. See, I couldn't get on the roof, period. And if I did get on the roof, I couldn't get down. I can't even stand on a chair, Peter, so there's no way I'm jumping out of a plane. I'm so sorry that happened to you, especially because you loved doing it. And how are you doing now? Like you can move and everything's good? Are you still experiencing the pain?
Well, no, I just have, some, once in a while I get some nerve spasm, but that's about it. But no pain, no more, no more, thank God, no more.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But other than that, no, I'm fine. Good. I had to maneuver differently, playing-wise and all that. I had to readjust some certain things, my way of playing, where I would always say, play fast, and which I still practice, but I managed to bring my own way and my own style within my time healing period.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you adjusted. And another thing too, I don't think a lot of people realize is when you do have injuries like that and they give you the pain medications, they're usually narcotic, and they can really mess you up. So I found that out.
I had none of that. No narcotics.
Good
nothing,
for you.
Even the painkillers they gave me that was prescribed, I tried to take them, but they weren't doing nothing. The only thing that helped me is aspirin for a headache. That's what was helping keeping the pain 50% down, which was way more bearable than what they gave me then at the hospital.
Wow. Well, they've given me everything. The last thing they gave me was morphine, and I've completely just about gone off of it. I'm still on a bit of it. But what I'm using is CBD oil. So keep that in mind, because, oh my God, does it work? Because my disease is never going to go away. It's just going to be with me for the rest of my life. But I'm pain-free. I can move better. So yeah, keep that in mind. Not that I promote drug use at all, but yeah, CBD oil seems to really, really work for me. And it was actually a massage therapist that kind of recommended it. So keep that in mind, just to,
Yeah.
But anyways.
The chiropractor I used to go, he used to tell me to get turpentine and peanut butter oil and mix it together and rub it on my back and do some twists left and right and try to rub it as much as you can. But, I was by myself at that time, so try to rub it on your own.
Yeah, a little bit.
It stinks, and then you need a good shower after that.
I guess. Oh, my God. But hey, if it works.
It makes your dog run away from the room.
I would imagine, like screaming, running. I'm so glad that you learned how to adjust your playing and you're still going strong, because I couldn't imagine the world without you. So now you've performed on television programs as well as live concerts throughout North America. Now we're going to find out the difference between Manitoba, where I'm from, and Montreal, where Peter's from, because I'm going to say these names and then he's going to say them, and it's going to sound way better when he says them. So you've performed throughout North America at prestigious venues such as Spectrum de Montreal for audiences of
Spectrum de Montréal.
See, I told you he was going to say it better. An audience of 2,500, and then here we go. Here comes my English. I'm gonna let you say the cote. You say the Cote de Nige.
Côte des Neiges.
These they see. Okay.
That was an outside park, and actually, it's a funny story behind that too. Just a quick little story on that.
Mm-hmm.
The organizers, they didn't have enough people to play during like the festivity for the evening, and they asked us if we were available to play, like 15, 20 minutes, and we said, yeah, sure, we'll do it. Well, by doing that, they ended up, well, they were expecting to have a small crowd, like to 2,000 to 3,000 people, and that was actually for, oh my God, the prime minister then, I can't remember his name. I apologize. I can't remember his
Okay,
name.
so I'll go through them.
Actually,
It wasn't Trudeau. No.
no.
The
That was
original
way
Trudeau,
before
not
him.
the.
That was
Okay.
way before him.
No, I mean his dad.
President Clinton was then there, and they
Oh,
signed the agreement then.
you're
But I can't
talking.
remember his name now.
Oh my God, I can't remember his name either. Okay, that's so bad. We're so bad with Canadian history, but we're so good with US. Okay, anyways, carry on. Brian Mulrooney?
It would
Was it
probably hit me right after the show. But
Brian Mulrooney? I
yeah,
don't know. Anyways.
we ended up having close to 8 to 10,000 people that they didn't know what to do with all these people. So they were
Wow.
police officers all over the place to make sure that it was calm and everything. And where we're supposed to play 15 minutes, we ended up playing about an hour.
Wow, that is cool. I wonder,
Yeah.
was it Brian Mulrooney? Okay, never mind. We're gonna stop guessing. Okay. And then you also played, and I'm gonna let you say this. Okay, I'm gonna say it just because everybody that finds out that I'm from Canada, right away they go, "Oh, you speak French?" I'm like, "No." Not at all. Nor can I say French words properly because I'm gonna butcher this. Okay, so Auditorium de Verdun.
Auditorium de Verdun, yeah.
Oh my God, you like that sounds way better. And that was an audience of 15,000 people.
Yeah, that was a jam-packed. Actually, it's like I know the audience won't know, like the Forum of Montreal, it would be like playing at the Penguin Stadium, not stadium, but the arena, but it was jam-packed.
Wow.
Jam-packed.
The energy, I couldn't imagine. Like I don't sing, I can't play an instrument, but just to be on the stage during something like that would be just wow, electrifying. I couldn't even imagine. Um,
The feeling is amazing, especially when people grew with you and they jam with you. The feeling is amazing.
yeah, I guess so. Maybe one day I'll get up on stage with a band and just kind of stand there. I can maybe do a tambourine. I don't know. Anyways, okay, so let's talk about your new album, The Beginning of the End, and it's your latest creation, and it's not one to
That
be
was
missed.
that is my first solo album. Yes.
Okay, and it's great. We're gonna hear a song from it. Now, who else? You're working with somebody else that has been on my show.
Keith Ferrari.
Yes, he is an amazing man.
He's a fantastic person, great singer. Amazingly great. I mean, I could go beyond words. We connect very well musically, and I guess the rest of it will speak for themselves. The album's coming out soon, so we're very tight together. We're very good.
Good.
I'm happy.
And hopefully either you or Keith will come back on the show to talk about the new album because that would be awesome. I just
Sure.
want a side note about Keith. I had him on my show. He's just the most humble, amazing man ever. When I was going through, like, Peter, you know what I was going through. I'm not going to go into detail what was happening in my life. He actually kept checking on me via Twitter to make sure I was okay, and it was just so touching that he would reach out to me like that. I was like, okay, now I'm tearing up. Okay, anyways, so Keith Ferrari, you guys, if you're not following him or you haven't heard of him, please check him out. He's amazing. And Peter is going to be on his new album, and I can't imagine. It's going to be fantastic. But now your solo album, The Beginning of the End, it's out now, right?
Yes.
And you can purchase it everywhere online and your website. We're going to talk about your website. Now, before we do that, because you've been doing this for a while, and I mean, you were sidelined because of an accident and then you came back to it. And there's a lot of people that, do get sidelined for some reason or another, and they sometimes don't make it back to music. So I'm so glad you did. But I'm sure you've got some great advice for any new artist that's starting out on this incredible journey that can be very challenging. We all know independent music is I think it's getting a lot better and a lot. I think it's shifting. We're going to hear a lot more independent music on radio than we are the mainstream that's on now, which I'm crossing my fingers about. But what kind of advice do you think you'd give them, Peter?
Uh, it's how I learned is being very patient, work, and learn as much as you can because learning never stops. And and the most important thing is being yourself. The rest of it will speak on its own.
Wow, that's great advice. I like the being yourself part. Don't ever change, ever.
Exactly.
Now, what two songs are we going to hear from you?
From the solo album would be the beginning of the end,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you have Keith Ferrari. I think it's Sinister.
Yes, we're going to hear Sinister with Keith Ferrari. Now, that is off the new album that you guys are going to be releasing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we get a little sneak peek, people, of the album that Peter and Keith are doing, and I can't. It's you guys are gonna love this song. I love it. I'm in love with it. I really like the beginning of the end, though, Peter. I'm like such a fan. I'm serious. Like it's just amazing. Um, so
Thank you.
thank you for getting back to music and doing what you do because I couldn't. Yeah, you're so talented. I mean, you play the guitar, bass, the drums, you sing, like you do everything. You're very, very talented. Um, Now, like I said, we can get your music online, Bandcamp, Spotify, all those wonderful places, as well as your website, which is petergraigs.com. Now, it's going to be up
Yes.
on my website, and people can just click on it and go right to your website. And you have all your links there for wherever they can purchase your music.
Yes.
And I'm urging everybody, please, please, please purchase any independent artist's music. But you're going to fall in love with Peter just as much as I did. And you're going to love the song with Keith Ferrari, Sinister. So I want to say, Peter, thank you so much for taking time out. I know you're just off of work. I'm sure you're very tired. So thank you for coming on my show. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. So thank you so much.
I appreciate very much as well, and I'm very honored to be on your show.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.